All right. I believe. Oh my goodness. You're not Michael. What's happening right now? You're not Michael.
Well, it's a trusty sidekick. It's Coach Tony. Got your back, girl.
Oh
Hey,
my God.
come like Batman and Robin.
Well, there's going to be a little bit more feminine energy in the situation, but I think it's going to be balanced. I believe it is time to get it going. Let's go.
Let's roll.
Hey, oh my gosh, guys, welcome to Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. I'm your host, Val the Voice Johnson, and over there is Coach Tony. What's up? Oh my gosh.
Man, my pleasure. Sit in with you, Val. I love it. Every time we sit in, we just do this thing big. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. Interludes is streaming every Tuesday on our YouTube channel. And currently, we are on the Pod TV. Never miss an episode. If you'd like to become a sponsor on our platform, book time with us. And I'll ask Mr. Springer out in Brooklyn to go ahead and put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Brooklyn
And if
in
you
the house. Yeah.
Brooklyn. And as we're also for our audio podcast, we are celebrating 100 episodes of excellence. We thank you guys for coming. We got to let everybody know Mr. Wamble had like a work situation. This doesn't feel like work. Does it feel like work to you? It doesn't feel like work. So he had to take care of some things. So that's why he ain't on with us tonight.
Right. This playtime. I make sure I clear everything just to hang out. This playtime. This the best part of the night. We got everybody watching. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Got the hottest new show coming in here with Interludes. Of course, Val the Voice. And I'm definitely hanging out with Coach Tony. Come on now.
Well, you know what? I wanted to ask you what did you do this past weekend?
Val, this weekend I am just coming off of a crazy weekend, getting back home. Ended up being down in of all places, El Paso, Texas. Had to go down and do a coaching clinic there. And believe it, the crazy part about it, Val, was, I never been down that park until years ago. We played, while I was in college. And to go back now and be able to visit, do a coaching clinic, and be able to kind of enjoy the area. We were right across the border, literally from Juarez, Mexico, which at one point was the most dangerous place in the world. And
Wow.
at one particular point, El Paso was the safest place in America. Can you imagine that?
No, I can't.
Yeah, literally across the street. And I finally got an opportunity. Maybe some people have not. I don't know if you've had an opportunity, but I got an opportunity to see the wall. I'd never seen the wall before. I got a chance to see the wall. So
Oh my
it
gosh.
was,
Wait. Is this the famous wall that Mr. 45 used to talk about all the time?
yeah, but here's the funny part about it is that there is a section of the wall as we drove, because we went down and we drove over to Mexico one particular day, and
Okay.
it's hilarious. As you're driving along the border, there's a section of the wall that says the Obama administration, and then you continue to go, and then there's a bigger sign with an arrow says the Trump administration, because he wants you to know this is where I started, and the arrow points to where I'm continuing. But the places in between, there was still equipment laying out there. There was still parts of the
No.
fence. There were places that they hadn't done. You still got border patrol, but it was very, very interesting, and it was more interesting to be on the U.S. side in El Paso and literally look right out of my hotel window right into Juarez, Mexico. Was incredible.
Guys, wow. You know what? All I know is the whole thing with the wall. it just makes me cringe. And he need not to get elected. And we ain't gonna talk about him. I'm just gonna skip. I'm
Yeah,
gonna skip. We're gonna run right past that.
we're gonna keep it pushing
Over
like
the
a hurricane, right? We're
over
gonna
the
push like a hurricane.
exactly. Over the weekend, I got a chance to meet a fine artist named Author. How did I forget? Author Wright.
Okay,
And this is at the Connect Gallery in Chicago in Hyde Park. And
oh,
he posed next to one of my favorite pieces called Resurrection. And
I like
I
that.
said, yeah, because the guy is like, arching up and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. Let us know in the chat where, what's up. Want to give a shout out to Jay Wise. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And then,
Hey,
of course,
wow,
we got
what good, man?
and then we have the Bud, but that's Daniel. I know who that is. And of course,
Yeah, yeah,
thank you so very much, Kevin, for letting everybody know about being a future sponsor of that. But what came out over the weekend is something I wanted to talk to you about, and I was going to definitely talk to Michael about, was that there is an updated trailer for Wakanda Forever. This is a sequel to the latest film, which is Wakanda Forever. It's Marvel. And I think it's been revealed, Tony, that Siri is going to be taking up the mantle of this. So,
yeah.
what's your thoughts?
You know, I like the movie. It's very special to me because my nephew in Atlanta, Georgia, was a extra in the original. So
Wow.
uh, I am going. And matter of fact, I think he's also in part two. But if I can pull him away from his busy schedule with Tyler Perry and a couple other things he's doing, shout out to Demetrius Jarman. Shout him out real quick. I would love to get him on here because I think he's that type of person. About you and Mike, talking about movies and themes and the questions you guys have. He'd be very interested to talk about how the set went, how it was working with Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, and all that.
Wow.
It was really good. It was a great experience for him.
Right. So, although Marvel fans and moviegoers may be still mourning the loss of Chadwick Boseman, King T'Challa, who brought the character of Black Panther back to life, with this new trailer for the Marvel upcoming Wakanda Forever, it's supposed to be released on November 11th. It looks like the franchise is ready to move on and to meet it up. And we're going to set up Siri, and she is now the story's new heroine. Yet, after Disney dropped this latest trailer for much of the anticipated movie, it did raise some questions. First of all, should the Black Panther character really be gone just because we lost Chadwick? What do you think about that?
Now, I think that, if you look at series like Spider-Man, right? You look
Hmm.
at the latest Spider-Man with all three Spider-Man show up on the movie screen, and it was a big hit, blockbuster hit. You look at
Hmm.
Superman, look at the Batman series and all that. Why can't we have our own superhero?
Exactly.
And why name it Wakanda Forever if you're gonna kill it in a series or two, right? That time I said
Uh,
forever
I,
was for a minute, you know?
and I think Hollywood is a little nervous about having a black woman lead, but as we've recently seen with Viola Davis literally killing it, they came in number one with The Woman King. Why are we shrugging about a woman being a lead and I'm talking about a superhero movie,
Right.
because usually when there's a woman in a lead in a superhero movie, sometimes it does well, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, you know, if Hollywood stepped away from Hollywood and went around the corner to Compton, they'll see black women leading all the time, right? So,
Right.
so when we look at this, it's amazing how, for example, Idris Elba was trying to play 007. We got to jump through extra hoops. So to have our own movie in Wakanda Forever, I thought the movie was fabulous. It was something that you not only, most of the time you get these movies, Val,
Hmm.
um, there's certain people that can go watch them, age group wise, right? That
Right.
Wakanda Forever was pretty much every age group, from the kids to the young adults to the teenagers to the mom and pops, grandpa. And if you can have a sequel And the key is going to be this sequel has got to be in a good sequel to extend what Chadwick was trying to do. If it's not, then maybe we got an issue. But if this sequel
Well,
is off the charts, we're great.
Well, I think it's in good hands because of the writer director Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
So because he is also directing this, and he literally, they had a lot of time to get things together, because they started shooting this, I believe, just before the pandemic, and I know Chadwick was still alive, but the film is in great hands. We are now introduced to the main, I want to say the main antagonist, or the people that's going to be causing the Wakanda and the kingdom some issues. So guys, check out the trailer. Not right now, but the trailer, I think Mr. Springer went ahead and put that in the chat. If you guys are looking forward to seeing Wakanda Forever, go ahead. It releases November 11th. And now, speaking of movie stars, one of the most recognizable movie stars, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let me put it on pause. Was in the news for the most of the year for all the wrong reasons. People have a visceral reaction to hearing the name, and I'm talking about Will Smith. Two questions. One, did Will Smith actually get canceled? And two, would you pay to see him in a slavery movie? Because what's happening over the weekend, the Apple TV Plus is now releasing an Emancipation, and it's directed by Training Day Oscar-winning film by Antoine Figueroa and Fuqua. I'm sorry, Fuqua. Thank you very much. And they spent $120 million for this film. And I don't know, what do you think about this
Well,
new situation with Will?
I think that if the slave owner was Chris Rock, then the movie would be a hit because he'll get the opportunity
I can't believe
for getting smacked. Hey, Will got it in the first scene. I'm gonna tie Will up to the tree with that bullwhip, and we'll make it happen. But in all seriousness, I think that Will's gonna struggle, Val, trying to get back to where he was at before because of the situation at hand. Now, don't get me wrong; he's dealing with Anthony Fuqua, who's a tremendous writer,
That's
great
right.
director.
Director.
His movies have been off the hook. So if you know anything that he's put out, then he's going to draw that crowd. But I think that it probably was too late to remove a Will Smith away from that. So he probably had to go ahead and release it. And plus, contract wise, but I think that it's going to draw a few people to the show because good movies are good movies. But I don't think that the numbers are going to do what they could possibly do if the situation that happened with Will at the Oscars never happened.
Right. So the movie's going to be released first in the theaters, Coach, and then it's going to be released on Apple TV. And I asked Springer to put this in the chat. Guys, let us know. Would you watch Will Smith in a slave movie? Just let
I'm,
us know if that's, give us a yes or a no. Maybe it could be
I'm,
a oh heck no. It could be anything.
I'm telling you, I have him picking cotton every day.
But that's based on what happened hundreds of years ago. You are horrible. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, Emancipation by Antoine Fuqua. It'll be hitting theaters December 2nd, and then Apple TV. Then we would like to welcome. We have actually we have two special guests, but our first special guest today is going to be Carolyn Bowman. She is a former Chicago Honey Bear cheerleader, and she's going to let us know what was happening down in Florida. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
I ain't
Oh
know
my
you
God.
was one of my honey bears, girl. I ain't know you ain't tied to the bed. Hey, we gonna keep it south side every day, all day. You know that.
Here we go. Oh my God. But Carolyn, over the week, we were just kind of going over what's happened over the weekend. Those two movie trailers got released. And then I was praying for people, friends of mine, including you, that dealt with Hurricane Ian.
Ian.
let us know how are things now, and where exactly are you in Florida?
Well, I live inland. I'm near Lakeland, not far from Orlando. And
Mm-hmm.
so our damage wasn't nearly as bad as, say, if you were by the water. Now, they
Okay.
tell you to get out, get out. There is no question you leave. But there's a water surge, a storm surge to deal with. And
Mm-hmm.
they had
Mm-hmm.
swells up to 12 feet in some parts. I mean, there are homes swimming in the ocean right now. But where we were, the down trees, heavy rains, loud trees hitting, tree limbs hitting the ground, hitting, the house. And so we were spared. We were spared. Now, there were a few areas where the trees blocked the streets. So, and there were down power lines. But I'm, knock on wood, I'm blessed. We did not experience nearly what we could have, considering we were 20 miles from the eye at one point.
Oh, wow. And,
Yeah.
as mentioned, my sisters in Sarasota,
Mm-hmm.
which they call the actual Eye of Ann. And, and I moved from Chicago to Nashville, and people talk about the train noise, so to speak, when you hear slash a tornado, a hurricane. Did you hear that type of stuff when you were kind of hunkering down, making sure that you and your family were safe?
If,
With a lot of high
if I
winds?
had heard that sound, my hair would be completely white right now. All right. That's why I have bags under my eyes. I got no sleep for the first couple nights because I kept listening out. I mean, yeah, I didn't mind hearing the trees fall, but I did not want to hear a train. But there were wind gusts that really made you think that it was. And so
Right.
there was a plan B where, okay, we're going to hunker down in this corner of the house because it's your interior walls, either that or bathroom. But with 2 dogs and a cat, it just would have been difficult, but it would have been done. Okay, it would have been done. But yeah,
Yeah.
hurricanes, they used to terrify me to the point of being incapable of rational thought.
Wow.
Stealing that line from Ghostbusters, but
I can imagine that.
so I
Oh.
learned about them, and then I began posting on Facebook the ones that were coming near me or people that live near me. And so, and it actually wound up being a godsend because, people are thanking me and DMing me. Oh, thank you so much for the information. I don't even have to watch the weather because I look at your posts, and I'm grateful for that. But because
That's
Ian was going to be bad 2 weeks ago, and I was telling people, get your stuff together now. Otherwise, you're
Right.
going to wind up in Walmart next to the hygienically and intellectually challenged people, who are fighting over gallons of water when
awesome.
you could go early and get it out the way. And we were good.
Right.
We were
So
good.
so the weather report started reporting as early as 2 to 3 weeks ago before it actually made landfall.
Well, I
Right.
always follow NOAA, which is the national hurricane thing. And
Okay.
so I don't listen to any of the local channels until it starts getting serious. But if
Okay.
NOAA tells me to look out, I'm looking out.
That
Because,
makes sense.
yeah,
That makes a lot of sense because I was looking today for a perfect example because I'm always seeing if there's a backswell of hurricanes coming again. And there's a Cat 3 hurricane right now that's coming through Santa Lua, Mexico, that's supposed to come up the West Coast this time.
yes.
And they don't know if it's going to go up the West Coast to California or cross over Mexico and into the Gulf and back into southern Texas, into that Louisiana area.
I'm watching
So,
that one too because it's taking the same path that Ian did.
right.
And yesterday it was less than 40% chance of development. Today it's
Okay.
more than 50.
Right.
So
Can you make everybody understand also since you live in that area, I hear and look at the news and they talk about the Gulf of Mexico as opposed to the Atlantic Ocean. When the hurricane hits the water in the Gulf, it's kind of like, depending on the temperature. Last week, the temperature was 84 degrees in the water. So they
yes.
said it was like pouring gas on fire.
It is. It is. The Gulf of Mexico is always warmer because it's smaller and it's surrounded by land. So it takes longer to cool off. So if a hurricane or a tropical depression gets into that body of water, it's going to grow, which is part of the reason that Ian was so slow. He was back building. He was building up to the point where he was just scant miles from being a Cat 5 when he made landfall. Because I
Wow.
believe a Cat 5 is like 151 miles or something like
Yeah,
that.
it hit Cat 4, Cat 5. When my sister them got in Sarasota, she said it was at 155 coming
Yeah.
through Sarasota.
Yeah. So it was a serious storm, but they told you they have zones, and zone A is closest to the water, zone B is next to that zone, and so on and so forth. And so when they tell you to leave, you leave.
Right.
There is no
Wow.
riding out a storm on a boat. There is no
Mm-mm.
riding out a storm. Oh, well, honey, we can watch it come. Yeah. Okay.
I saw
I
that,
think
Val. As a matter of
I
fact, Val, I saw it on TV. Some dude, he actually moved his whole house and he was living off of a boat. I'm like, in my first opinion, I'm saying, dude, you had 2 weeks. Won't you jump in a boat, be like Gilligan's Island and roll up Atlantic? But then you think the only way he could possibly go would have to be back in the Gulf towards Texas because he was also going to go up the East Coast. So
Yeah.
he would
right,
have nowhere to go. Even if he went up the East Coast, he would have been caught in.
True. True.
right,
Even
and
people they told here to evacuate, by the time they told them to evacuate, if they didn't go very south to Miami or extremely north beyond different parts of Georgia, they got caught. They got
Wow.
wow. We are excited that you are safe and that you're
Thank
Yeah.
you.
okay. And I'm grateful that Ian did not make as much of damage in the areas that you live in. And what makes Carolyn so special is she was initially scheduled to come on tonight and talk about her time as a Chicago honey bear, and we're going to bring her back next week with some other special guests. And Carolyn, me and Coach, and on behalf of myself, Coach, and Mr. Wamble, thank you so very much for stopping by and
Oh,
letting us
no
know all
problem.
about what happened down in Florida. I think her Chicago training kicked in. That's what
Oh,
happened.
Hey, she must have a little Southside hood in it there, man.
Had to be. I can definitely defend myself against a hurricane. Ain't no hurricane gonna
well,
take
it's
me.
like they say you can take Chicago out of, or you could take the girl out of Chicago, but not Chicago out of the girl.
Girl, there you go.
So
Can't
a
take the
lot of
city out. Hey,
instincts are
I,
down here that are inbred. Okay,
right.
they're not going to go away.
I tell them that all the time, Carolyn. We gonna look out for ours too. So we most definitely appreciate you. And once again, I don't even know if you saw someone put in. I think it was Mr. Reed put in. Thank you so much for the helpful information because sometimes we don't know. Like, we're sitting here watching what's going on, and we're saying this person or that person should have escaped or should have evacuated, and then all of a sudden it's too late. You got people that are trying to get there. Yeah, one guy was on TV said they just bought their house 2 weeks ago. They haven't even paid their first mortgage, and the
Wow.
house is gone. So incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
a lot of stories like that. But Carolyn, thank you so very much.
You're
And
welcome.
and hopefully and prayerfully we'll have you back on next week with
Yes.
the
Definitely.
other cheerleaders. Woo!
Thanks,
Thanks
Carolyn.
so much,
Oh, you're
Carolyn.
welcome. Have a great night.
Oh my gosh. She's been one of our supporters from early on, back in February and March. So she's been cheering us on. So I'm excited about that, Coach, to have her on. So
That's
that's gonna
awesome.
be fun. Uh I'm gonna pivot now, but it's funny. I would do like this theme music for sports. Can I still do it even though
Come on,
you
you
right
got to
here?
drop it. Come on, you got to drop it for me.
I'm
I
gonna
bet
drop
you
it
got
for you right now. Okay, let me
to
drop
drop
it
it
for
for
you
me.
right now. Here we go. Here we go.
Man, that, that just, hey, that gave me, I'm ready to come out boxing already, Val. What you talking about?
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Oh
but
my.
the funny part about it, I'll come out boxing and get hit the wrong way. I may get a concussion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, ouch. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, and speaking of concussion, earlier we talked about Will Smith, who famously starred in a movie about the
Concussion.
NFL and the league's leading history dealing with head injuries and trauma called concussion. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. I believe I can. Let's add her. Okay. All many things working in the background.
There you
And
go.
so sadly, it doesn't appear that teams, coaches, or players have learned their lessons regarding concussions or what to do or how to deal with this issue, Coach Tony. Before I ask you what happened, and we're looking at Will again, I'm actually going to go. We went to Florida. Now it's time to go to California by way of Atlanta. I'm going to bring on. He is a relationship coach, and an expert when it comes to he's known as the entanglement coach, but I'm bringing him on for someone that used to play football. I want to welcome everyone to Interludes Extra. Let me welcome everyone. Gerald Hightower, how are
The high
you?
tower.
Hey, good evening, fam. Good to see everybody.
Most
Thanks for
definitely.
bringing me in, Miss Val. Coach Tony, what's up?
Man, I'm like, hey, she said entanglement coach. I just want to know, you should have gave Jada Pinkett some help.
Yeah, man. Listen, Coach Tony, I could have helped Jada and Will. I promise you, I could have helped them. All I had to do was bring me on.
I told you, see, Val slipping on that one. She
So, Coach and Gerald, what happened when it came to the Miami quarterback Tula?
Coach, you want to tackle it first?
Well, I opened it up here because I want to get your insight, especially from a football player perspective and being hit for so many years and being behind that ball. For those that don't know, Tua Tagovailoa is Miami's quarterback by way of University of Alabama. Nick Saban put several kids in the NFL the last few years, and 2 or 3 quarterbacks lately has had that. One in Mac Jones and the Patriots, and now Tua. Couple weeks ago, second week of the season, Tua was hit close to the end zone, got up, stumbled away, fell, went off to the sideline. Later on in that game, he told the coaches he felt better, so they put him back in. He was then checked on the precautionaries, and then he missed a few practices, but was brought right back to the game last weekend, of which he played the Bengals and was body slammed to the ground by a defensive lineman and lost all feelings and consciousness of his hands, body. And now, to be as a scapegoat, in my personal opinion, they fired a team doctor, and Coach Mike McDaniels, young guy, obviously young guy, they did nothing to him. And, and now he's trying to jump onto a side like, hey, I want to make sure my guy's okay. Well, that wasn't happening before. And now the NFL is trying, in my opinion, again, is trying to protect themselves from a lawsuit from Tua and his people.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Certainly the coach does definitely have some responsibility. He is culpable to some degree, but the team doctor should have been fired, because it's not the coach's job to determine if Tua can go back in the game. It's the doctor's responsibility. That's what he's there for. And concussion protocols have been set in place by every team in the NFL, as well as now the college level, as you know, Coach.
Right.
Every team playing pro football or college pro football has to go through concussion protocols. And those protocols include, Val, that if a guy shows any dizziness, if he becomes a little leery, he gets up to walk and he stumbles back down, as Tua obviously did. He got up and he stumbled and fell back down, and his guys had to help him back up.
Right.
And he wanted to stay in the game, and they took him out the game. Now, any one of us who has played ball, all right, and I played strong safety, I played left corner, and I was a little guy, Coach, when I was playing ball. I mean, I wish I was this size now. I might have made it to the NFL.
Right. Right. That Sunday night ticket.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or at least, playing Canada ball or something, you know what I mean? Right. In the CFL, if I could make it to the NFL. But, all of us who have played ball for any significant amount of time, we've all had our bell rung. And so we didn't know about concussions when I was playing back in the 80s. We didn't, in the 80s and the 90s, we didn't know nothing about concussion protocols.
Right.
We just know if your bell got rung, you shake it off. Hey, what's the number? They'll give you some smelling salt. If you can get back in the game, you get back in that game, because we're conditioned to be super tough, Val. And toughness means that if I get hurt, as long as ain't nothing hanging off or cracked in half,
right,
tape it up, go back in that game.
Let's go, because you're built like that, and that's funny. But I walked away from football because of that exact reason. I was a halfback and a wide receiver, and once I hit the sideline, you can forget it. I mean, I got several family members now playing football, big time pros in college, and but at that time as a young kid, man, once I hit the sideline, you're not going to catch me. And one day I got to talking trash to this guy. And he said, man, I'm going to catch you one day. I'm going to hit you. And I guess he read that play. It was a sweep, out, fake the pitch out, threw the ball. And when I caught it and turned around, he caught that helmet right under the chin. Literally, man, I got up after that smelling sauce, took my uniform off, quit doing the game, man. So coach was like, where you going?
You did an AB on them?
Yeah, I did. Straight up. Hey, take this uniform. I was gone.
Oh my gosh. Derek says he's played Division I football as a starter for 4 years. And he says, Coach is right. We did not stop playing regardless. It's sad, but true. And according to The Guardian, according to a report, a source says that the NFL Players Association opted to exercise its right to dismiss the doctor as a part of an agreement with the league to fire this unaffiliated neural trauma consultant without agreement from the other party. But I think it's mainly to protect the NFL. But and my thing is that when he was hit the first time, he was hit, he should not have returned to a game. Because I'm thinking, as I talked to a coach earlier today, he said that it's like you're drunk and then you went back for more alcohol. Like if you were hit if you drank and they're like, okay, well, let's go back and drink some more. And then you're just still kind of woozy. And I'm thinking, who cleared this young man to play? And I'm thinking, like, I'm not a mother, but just like a mother or a sister or a loved one going, okay, you got hit, you need to go and sit down somewhere. But
yeah, but man, you got to realize it. Me and Hargrove, this is a perfect situation right here. I'm the coach, he's the player. So he gets hit, you're the doctor. He comes out the game. Hargrove goes over and look at you. First of all, he ain't even trying to talk to you. He's not trying to see you one bit. He's trying to tell you, the doctor, that he's okay. He's doing everything he can do to see if he can even, look like he can perform. Like you said, a boxer, and somebody get knocked down, they get back, they still trying to continue that fight, even though they're woozy. Now he comes over to me, the coach. I'm focused on the game because I'm on the next play because I don't have time to watch Hargrove talking to you, the doctor. Then I say, hey, Hargrove, how you feeling, man? Hey, coach, I'm good, baby. I'm tough. I can get back in there. Okay, you sure? Yeah, let me go. All right, let's go. Next one, go get such and such out. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, Hargrove, but that's pretty much the basis of how this stuff goes most of the time.
Yeah. No, listen, it's you're 1,000% correct. And it's like no player worth his salt wants to even go and deal with that doctor. So the NFL has set, once again, concussion protocols, which means you have to go inside that blue tent and get evaluated. All right. He didn't even go to the blue tent. They took him all the way in the back in the locker room to get evaluated. All right. Listen, the eye test tells us that Tua should have never been brought back in the game. But guess what? It's all about the money, honey. Guess what? The Miami Dolphins were 3-0 at that time. They're undefeated.
Yep.
He ended up winning that game. He came back in the game, toughed it out like a good football player does, right? Toughed it out, right, coach? And they won that game. Now he's playing on Thursday night. So unlike normally from Sunday to Sunday, he would have 6 days to at least rest and get reevaluated. No, they're on a short week. They got to play on Thursday night against the Bengals with tough defense. And they kicked that kid. They slammed that kid to the ground. And the rest was history. And he was wheeled off on a stretcher.
Yeah,
so
that was tough to see.
This national news now is because he was injured in that game. Had they won that game and he had gone uninjured, it would have been a past story. Nobody would have even talked about it. But to the point now, because I heard you bring in at the outset of this section of the broadcast about the movie Concussion, which Will Smith did a phenomenal job in that movie. He was nominated for a Golden Globe Award. And so we have this condition by the doctor that he was portraying, CTE, which stands for chronic traumatic supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yeah, that E word. I did try to coach before I came on. I practiced it 10 times before I came on here, but when all this so CTE, so that condition that everybody's familiar with, especially because Will Smith did a phenomenal job portraying the doctor, and they brought it to light. In fact, NFL was so mad about the movie because it highlights Hall of Famer Mike Webster, which you remember, coach, played center for many, many years with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with Bradshaw, Lynn Swann, John Stallworth. Franco Harris, the Italian stallion.
Yeah, baby.
Right. So Mike Webster, Val, actually committed suicide.
Right.
And then fast forward, Junior Seau out of USC. Shout out to the Trojans.
There you go.
Junior Seau, who was destined to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He played 20 years in NFL, the bulk of his career with the Chargers, and then he retired after playing with the Patriots. He committed suicide by shooting himself in the chest, but he did that intentionally, Val, because he wanted his mom and his people to preserve his brain, because Junior Seau had been dealing with depression for years. After playing 10 years in the NFL, of course he had CTE. He played linebacker. And Junior Seau, like Tua, was Samoan, and Samoans are known for being tough.
Correct.
They got to be bleeding and half dead to take them off the field.
Yeah, and I don't think my thing is
I was made from, and that's the cloth that Junior Seau was cut from.
Right, and I just feel like why isn't it more important for the health of these players to be looked after versus this pride or this thing of I got to go and finish this game, or I got to go and do my job. It's like if you get knocked down in the way that Tua was knocked down, I'm thinking, okay, I need to take a pause. To me, that would make sense. But then I'm not a football player. I don't know what that thought process is.
And
like.
You're not conditioned that way, Val. As Hargrove said, these kids have been playing this way since Pee Wee ball. I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 years old. You know, when you get hit, get up, boy. What are you doing? I don't want to hit them tears. Write those tears up. What I want to show. Put the stat up real quick, Val, that I sent you about the concussions in all sports. And this would be great for Hargrove. Leave that stat up so we talk about what you want to see on this particular stat. And I wish we had my cousin on Hargrove. I wish he was on here a while back. Dr. Derek Burgess, he's the team doctor for Deion Sanders in Jackson State University. And he deals with this on the sideline quite a bit. And this has been a wonderful night to have had him on in a bigger crowd to speak to this. But we talk about concussions in the game. And you, a prime example of this, just speaking about your longevity in the particular game, in the sport that you love. And football players, their longevities are short now, really short. And this is why when the outside people are looking at these contracts that the NFL guys are getting, they can't believe them. That's for the simple fact that they're not out there for many, many years. They're short to the game. So when you're looking at soccer, football, basketball, and volleyball are your main sports, because baseball is really none. You're looking at from practice to competition, everything was around a 0.9, 0.7 to a 1.5. And then when you hit football, it jumped all the way to 3.5, 3.7, 4%. That is way high. And although they've tried over the last few years to take hitting away, right? Hargrove, they try to put these dummies in. Now they practice against these dummies, hitting them and tackling dummies. But it's not the same, because when Saturday and Sunday come, you got a live person lined up across from you who about to ring your bell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach, by the way, it's Hightower, not Hargrove.
Oh, my bad. I don't know why I said my bad. I got you.
You must have been thinking about one of the Bears. You must have been thinking about one of them Bears.
Hey, I will definitely think about them Bears, especially the way they played against the Giants this weekend. They made me move my for promotional purposes only. I went 3-1 last weekend.
Here we go. We're going to the Giants, Bears, and you know I'm torn. It was New York and Chicago. Are we going there now?
Listen, I'm praying for both of y'all. But anyway, my LA Rams, they took a big time L from the 29ers last night. I'm sorry, the 49ers.
The 29ers.
Yeah, the 29ers to me, Coach, because they only half of what they used to be. So anyway,
I love that. I'm about to use that one.
He's got Wise cracking up over here, Coach.
Mr. Wise, my man.
Right. Wise. I love it, man. And the funny part about it is that, looking at the NFL right now, tell me your opinion in terms of, everyone talks about the GOAT and the young guy, right? We saw what happened Sunday night with the GOAT and the young guy. The young guy got him back from the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
And he's on a tear. So they talk about Buffalo. And I told these guys at the beginning of the season, you better watch out for Kansas because Mahomes is back. He saw where they made their few mistakes. And yeah, we talk about what the East is doing. We're not going to do anything in Tennessee. I think the Titans are going to be okay. But we know that on this side of the ball, in my opinion, it's coming either through Buffalo or going through Kansas City.
Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. Although, let's not rule out our man who bet on himself this year, Lamar Jackson.
I like Lamar. He better get a contract. That's what Lamar better do.
Well, he's going to get a contract. So, Val, just to let you know, Lamar Jackson is doing something that no major quarterback or major MVP type talent has ever done. And that is him and his mom are managing himself, managing his brand. He does not have an agent.
Nope.
Wow.
So they gave Deshaun Watson, quarterback who was engulfed in controversy this whole year with 23 cases of molestation against him by massage therapists.
I remember that.
Cleveland Browns gave him a guaranteed $230 million contract.
Right.
And although Deshaun Watson is an outstanding talent, he has not won an MVP award, and he has not done any major damage in the NFL playoffs.
And
but
Jackson's ranked number 2 right now amongst all NFL quarterbacks. Jackson's number 2 right now.
So the Baltimore Ravens did not give him a contract prior to the season. And he says, listen, once the season starts, I'm not going to be talking about no contract. I'm just going to play ball. If y'all don't pay me now, you have to pay me later. And Lamar Jackson stands to, if he stays healthy, he stands to get a $300 million contract by the end of this year.
And you know what they say, like Martin said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So who do you think is the NFL league MVP so far? So you guys mentioned some folks right now. Based
Lamar
on
Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the offensive player of the month of September. So right now you got to give it to Lamar. Although Jalen is close behind, and Patrick, I would say Jalen and Patrick Mahomes are neck and neck for number 2. But Lamar was the player of the month for September.
Yeah, I'd reverse. I like how they said, but I thought that Hunt did it for one reason why. Baltimore's been playing great. They've been playing great from last year. They played great in our division. They played good against the Titans, and they've had that team rolling. Hunt has been able to bring, first of all, the cards that were stacked against him from Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes to
Jalen Hurts.
Exactly. Hurt proves him wrong, get his ring. Yeah. Then he goes to the league. Now, all of a sudden, he got the Eagles balling out of control and off the map. And now he, in terms of where Jackson was voted, but Hurt had the number 1 percentage in terms of completions to touchdowns over all quarterbacks. So when I'm looking at stats, I like what he's doing. And I think that.
And he's the only undefeated team now. His team is the only undefeated team in the league.
5-0. And who would have thought that, right?
Nobody.
Exactly.
I'm like, who's spread on that one, Val? Nobody.
Well, I'm going to ask you something right here, too, Al. So, you know me, I give them for promotional purposes only.
Here we go. Here
go my picks.
Sell it, Coach. Sell it.
Here go my picks for next week. You tell me what you like. No, I got Indy traveling to Denver. I got Denver winning at home. I got New York Giants going to Green Bay. I got Green Bay winning at home. I got Philly going into Arizona, picking up a road win on the road in Arizona. I got Tampa winning over ATL in Tampa. And the tough game, I got my beloved Tennessee Titans going to the Capitol and winning in Washington this week. Hopefully I can go 5-0. I won 3-1 last weekend. Only the Bears hurt me.
I'm with you on all 5 of those picks, Coach. 10 toes down.
My man, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Val, I just got a stamp of approval, Val. Hey, for promotional purposes only, I just got a stamp of approval now. Come on now.
Okay, well, I'm talking about an old game, but the Giants win. It was 3-1. Bears lose. They're 2-2. Who will quarterback the Giants next week? That's my question.
Next year?
next week.
Oh, next week. I mean, Daniel Jones is still
Yeah,
balling.
yeah. He's not gonna get taken out of that position. He'll still be there. I don't think he's going nowhere. Just like Justin Fields. Fields will be there. He's young.
He can keep
Giants
his job now. Daniel Jones, he can keep his job in New York if he takes the Giants to the playoffs.
Right.
They don't go to the playoffs, which means they got to bump out the Cowboys because they ain't gonna bump off the Eagles.
And that would have been a better question, Val. Is Dak Prescott going to come back and get his job? Because since Dak been down, they've been winning. So the problem is, and I know them Jerry boys, and he can't wait because today they measured, Dak's little finger on his thumb, say he's about 1 week away. I like Jerry Jones, but he's a salesman. He told everybody Dak could be back every Sunday so they can stay in them seats. But they've been winning. So what you think, how he comes back? Do they work him in slowly, or does Dak go right back on the field?
Well, first of all, as of today, he could not grip the ball. As of today. So, second of all, they're going to be playing against Aaron Donald and the Rams.
Right.
It is not good for Dak to be back.
And if you're old school, how do? You come off that ball and you hit that hand, right? See if that hand ready, right?
Absolutely. Because Aaron Donald is a beast.
And look at Val. The Val, there's fighting words. Val?
My hand hurts from you all saying that. I'm like, ouch.
Hey, that's sports, Val. If you come up
by any means necessary.
Right. You just told me you sprained your ankle and you got to guard me tonight. I'm coming at you down court. I'm going to do everything I do. And on every rebound I get, I may step on your ankle on accident.
This is why I don't play sports. This is why I do not play sports.
Listen, I'm so glad I played in the era, Coach, where we could do whatever we wanted to you inside of 5 yards. It wasn't just boom, bump and run. No, I can put elbow in your throat. I could do whatever I wanted to inside of 5 yards.
Oh, yeah. That's my uncle played with the Cowboys back in the day. He told me about them war story. He told me guys get tackled on the ball. They trying to break your fingers. They trying to rip the ball, punch you, do dirty spit in your mouth, spit in your face under that pile. Anything goes until that referee clear that pile.
Everything. Anything goes into that pile.
Coach and Gerald, is there the NBA that I think that's supposed to start next? When is the NBA start?
Preseason now, Val. The Bulls playing at home right now. The Bulls at home right now.
Okay. So predictions. My thing is, you're supposed to give us an NBA predictions for. This isn't my lane.
Okay. On you.
I thought you pulled it off because Mike wasn't here. But good, I'm gonna use Gerald for this tonight.
That's why Gerald's here.
But I want Gerald to give me his opinion on this because we're gonna come out of his football lane and my basketball lane, and I want to see what you're talking about with the NBA this year.
All right. So first of all, I bleed purple and gold. Everybody knows I'm born and raised in South Central LA. You know what it is. So I bleed purple and gold. I'm 10 toes down with my Lakers, even the 3 years when we didn't even see the playoffs. I was still in the stadium at the Staples Center cheering for Kobe and whoever these other 4 jokers was, whatever they
I'm with you because we ain't won a ring in 20. I'm still Chi-Town deep, baby. I get you.
I know.
Right,
Same
as
here.
it should be. So I predict that the Golden State Warriors will be right back in the Western Conference Finals against Memphis. I believe if Ja stays healthy, it'll be Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors in the finals. I don't think Phoenix will make it back. I think they have a chance. They definitely have a chance, but I think they will probably get bumped off by either Memphis or Minnesota, Minnesota's some beasts.
Okay. On the East Coast, who you got?
East Coast? Oh my God. This is really controversial because we just had, I would have put Boston there automatically, but due to Ime Udoka, him being off the team, and now his assistant coach, Joe Mazzulla, with that cat, I don't know where these black men come up with these names. Ime African, but Joe Mazzulla is an Italian name, but whatever.
Right.
But 34 years old, first-time head coach, and he's over the most storied franchise in all of the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lakers being number 2. Got to give the hat to Boston. They are the most storied franchise. Got to give it to him. And so he's the assistant coach. So even though he has a championship caliber team, we don't know if his coaching will be able to keep that team together because Udoka is suspended for the whole season. So this young guy, 34 years young, all right, he's got a couple of players, including Al Horford, who's on the team, who's older than him.
Right.
So if he's able to keep these guys together, then they have a chance. But I would say coming out of the East this year, I think Giannis and Milwaukee comes back. I think with Giannis, who I see in the Eastern Conference Final, I see Philadelphia and Milwaukee.
Okay, so I like your West Coast side of the house because they just brought my homeboy back to the Golden State. They just brought Iguodala, Chi-Town, West Side, back to the Golden Bridges. So
West
I think he gonna add some muscle down there. Plus, he don't ask for a lot, and you got a perfect example. He gave him $3.5 million to come off the bench.
Yep.
I'll take that today, and I ain't playing no more. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at that situation with Steph, they did a smart thing. I don't know if you saw the game last night, but they have held down, the other brother, and he ain't playing right now. They're gonna hold off and bring Clay when the season get ready to start up, just so they can keep him protocol off that leg, which is a smart idea. Steve Kerr is good with that. And you're going to see the return of James Wiseman, Mr. Nashville man, James Wiseman here in Nashville, Tennessee, is going to finally be in the mix for Golden State. So they're going to be a tough put out. And you're right, because of what's going on in Phoenix, Chris Paul don't want to play with that squad. They don't want to play with that franchise. Win, lose, or draw, they won't be there. So
they won't be there.
The sleeper team you better watch out for is got to be Dallas Mavericks, though. Those Mavericks will be floating somewhere around there. And I think that the Mavericks got an opportunity, in my opinion. So I'm going Dallas Mavericks in there, a shot in those top three. And I do believe I'm taking Memphis Grizzlies staying in Tennessee. I think you take Ja without getting an ankle injury last year and getting put out, then we're going 7 games with that Golden State instead of 4-2 game. So I'm gonna take my Memphis Grizzlies homebred to come out the West this year. In the East Coast, I'm going back to my man who didn't want to play because of COVID, and Kyrie Irving. If he can stay healthy, I think that you're going to see a totally different Brooklyn Nets team with Kevin Durant. And I'm going to take my sleeper squad is going to be at the crib in the Chicago Bulls, because the Bulls actually had the lead over the entire Eastern Conference by the All-Star game, until Zoe Ball got hurt, till we start picking up injuries. So I think Giannis is great, but I think Giannis is going to buy out again. I'm gonna take Brooklyn, Memphis in the finals.
First of all, Coach, I love Brooklyn, the city of Brooklyn, but I can't rock with Kyrie because he's too uncertain. He's like a Mounds Armor Bar. Sometimes he feel like a net, sometimes he don't. So I can't rock with him. That's number one. Number two,
here we go.
I can't rock with first of all, if Chicago had healthy Zoe, healthy Alex Caruso, we are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago Bulls. But Zoe hurt, and Zoe is still hurt. Caruso got hurt, so it's like that. Unless those guys come back healthy, we don't really have a shot with the Chicago Bulls this year. Now, I hope they wake up tonight. Real quick, Coach. I'm gonna shoot it back to you. I need you to be down with me and rock with my Lakers, getting the sleepers chance to come into the playoffs, because we got Pat Bev now. Our defense going to be tighter, and Russ has been working on the shot. I do not expect Russell Westbrook to be Westbrick this year. I expect him to get back to his all-star ways, and with Patrick Beverly on our team, I expect that defense to be tenacious.
Let me tell you something. Old school Chi-Town, never support the Lakers, always keep it Bull.
What's happening?
I like him because I like LeBron, and Beverly is a Chicago West Side boy that's gonna get up in you and play some defense. So they're gonna have. But I'm the one thing I'm gonna give you 2 thumbs up and 1 thumb down. The Beverly, LeBron, and the D. The thumb down gonna be Westbrook. I look at Westbrook like you look at Kyrie Irving. I think Westbrook is the ticking time bomb, because it's only a matter of time when he sees the ball is not going to come through him. Because you got to remember, Westbrook is a guy that got to have the ball in his hands.
Right.
And that was the problem he had with LeBron, because you know how it was when we came to the side. You got on the Bulls, it's Michael Jordan team. If you don't like it, kick rocks, kick salt, and then take your class and tell your mom I'm gonna go play outside by myself. Because that's how we do it. So you come to LA, this is LeBron's team. Believe it or not. And if you are not gonna listen to what LeBron tells you to do, think about it. This season, I want you to watch when the Lakers go into timeout. LeBron goes in, he listens very intently, he let them listen, and when they break from the huddle, he puts them together at half court, and then he gives his own instruction because he don't want to be disrespectful in that line, but he letting them know what he really want them to do when they get on that floor.
That's right.
So that's a la Michael Jordan. You do the same thing. So I like what we're going. I think you're going to see a much better NBA season this year, and I'm excited. And the Bulls are opening up tonight, Val, at home at the Madhouse on Madison West Side against New Orleans Pelicans tonight. Preseason.
Well, you know what? I've been sitting here taking notes, and I definitely am excited about what is going to be happening with the NBA. Wise is already excited talking about Lakers. My man, I guess
there you go.
Giving Mr. Hightower some props on that, and then of course Michael, who is watching us from wherever he is, he says Golden State Warriors will beat the Lakers in the West.
Oh, absolutely! Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Michael, bro, tell us something that we don't know, bro. Tell us something.
Hightower didn't say they were going to upset him. Hightower just said he needs some Laker love. I think they're going to play well. I'm going to give the Lakers probably a number 4 finish. What do you think?
You know what? Honestly, Coach, I always keep it with buck. Lakers won't get as high as number 4. I see them as number 5 or maybe number 6.
If they go 5 or 6, they
go top 4. It's going to be Golden State. It's going to be Memphis. It's going to be Dallas.
Yep.
And it's going to be either going to be Denver or Minnesota as the top 4 seeds.
Ooh, you're not going to talk about Dame Dollar?
Dame Dollar, yeah, Dame Dollar is my man. I love Dame Dollar, but Portland ain't going nowhere.
Well, yeah,
he don't have a squad around him. And C.J. McCollum is in New Orleans.
He's in New Orleans right now. He's in Chicago tonight.
So I mean, it's Dame Dollar all by himself, and so I'm sorry, Portland's going to be in trouble
again. And this is why LeBron got that broom. This is why LeBron going to be able to preserve his body to LeBron and get to the league, because they're not going to be going deep in the play. He's done with rings. What LeBron is chasing right now is stats, and the Lakers know that. And I don't know.
Please get that man off the screen. Talking about
Jordan Brady than LeBron by far. I get Mike already know. Yeah, Jordan Brady than LeBron. We're not even going to go giving us
this brother. You know what, Coach? You know what this brother Michael is giving us? He's the equivalent of like giving you cliff notes, the cheat notes before the test. It's like, bruh.
Hey, Hightower.
I gotta break this up.
Hightower, sit next to me in class. You know how they go. Let me see what you got over there. You know. Hey, Val, I'm gonna tell you one thing. I love Hightower. You can bring him on here anytime with me on the sports side. I need some of that knowledge so we can keep conversation. That's what it's all about. Keeping this show live, man. It's been a great night.
Well, guys, I want to let everybody know that you can catch Dr. Gerald Hightower on his own platform. He is known as the Entanglement Coach. And what do you have coming up for yourself, Mr. Dr. Hightower?
Well, for all of those who are single and in relationships, listen, my job as the Entanglement Coach, I specialize in helping people break free from entanglements and soul ties and help you get connected to that right person so you can find your soul mate. And so this coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I have a 2-day relationship intensive. We're going to help you get free from them soul ties. All them people you slept with from the past, we're going to help your soul get healed from all of that so you can connect with your soulmate. Because a lot of us, Val, we're unnecessarily single because we still tied to the person of our past instead of being connected to the one in our future.
Okay. I like that. Brother Hightower, you were in Chicago as well?
I'm in Atlanta.
He's in Atlanta.
Oh, you down here by me. You in the A. I'm in the A all the time, baby.
Okay, cool. You got to come down, man. Let's hang out.
Oh, for sure. Val, once you get that information, I'm going to send you to my favorite spot down there. Val knows about it. You go down on University Avenue and check out some of that J&J's, man.
J&J's? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna put it.
I've been
And
here
when
since
you
2019. I haven't gone many places due to the pandemic. Everything shut down in 2020. But yeah,
so
I'm looking.
when
I'm looking for some spots. But thank you,
when you
Val.
see me, you're gonna be
Uh,
like, "Oh, Tony, thanks a lot. That was a good lookout." Because that's a good lookout right there.
Absolutely. So anybody wants to find me, you can connect with me on Facebook, Dr. G Hightower. You can find me on Instagram as The Entanglement Coach. You can also find me on Clubhouse as The Entanglement Coach. Connect with me. And if you're here on Facebook, you send me an inbox message. I'll give you a blessing on coming to our class this coming weekend. It's going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Again, that's 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. West Coast. Breaking free from all soul ties. We got to get y'all hooked up. Come on, brothers. Man, we got too many fine women that's out here that's single and ready to mingle. So get with your boy, the Entanglement Coach. I can get you
After
hooked
you talk,
up.
after you talked about sports,
Oh, I
Gerald,
like
thank
it.
you so. Gerald, thank you so much for joining us. We're wrapping up, and we'll see you a little bit later.
All right.
All right. Thank you so
Thank God,
much.
brother
Peace
Gerald.
up,
Hey,
Coach.
man, we gonna connect, baby. I appreciate your time tonight, man. We love you.
So now, wow.
Hey,
This has
we
been
go.
an
Hey, we
impactful.
go
This
deep.
has been a powerful hour. I have to say, I needed someone that could go toe to toe for you with
Yeah,
sports. So I
that's
knew
all.
Gerald was the man. He was the one
That's
that was
all.
helping with that. So we're gonna officially wrap up. Right now, I'm going to do this. We're gonna have Carolyn back next week with
Okay.
the of her being a part of the NFL Bears. She
That's
was
gonna
with
be
the Honey
interesting to hear
Bears,
about that. It'd be interesting to hear
right?
about that. Because they always
Exactly,
talk about the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, so it'd be interesting to hear about,
exactly,
other team. Yeah.
and then also tomorrow night, hashtag Wamble Wednesday. Mr. Wamble will be in the chair talking to you about Saucy Santana, Trina, and the voting. Instead of the ballot or the bullet, it's about the ballot and the booty. This is Mr. Wamble. I don't. This is
Hey,
hashtag
he,
Wamble
he,
Wednesdays. That's
he
what
might
that's
need
what
to
that's
go.
what he told me to say. That's what he
He might
told me
need
to
to
say
go
right
to
here.
brother. He need to go to Brother Hightower class.
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
Talk on
I'm gonna send him.
Tuesdays. Go
I'm gonna have
ahead.
to. Hey, Val,
We're
I'm
stream.
gonna have to
What
send
was
him down
that?
to old Shaq Hennessy's office.
Oh my gosh. We are streaming every Tuesday on our YouTube channel, our Facebook private group fan base, our LinkedIn under Pure Lighthouse Media, and we're also available on the Roku channel. Thank you, Mark. I think he was in the audience. If you'd like to be a sponsor on our platform, book time with us at linktr.ee/Pure Light Media. Go ahead and become a future sponsor on behalf of myself, Mr. Springer, and Michael Wamble, and Coach Tony.
Man, you already know how we do.
That's right. I think we out, right?
Hey, you know our favorite words, and we out.
And we out. Peace.